Spirit Day out there. This is like the 70s, and these guys can see it. Anyways, welcome. Welcome to our presentation for Black History Month. We're very excited that the BSU, the Black Student Union, is going to be moderating. They're going to be emceeing. And we have some panelists here that you might recognize from the campus. Hopefully you guys have came in during lunchtime and saw the talent show from the BSU. Again, I'm telling you, it was really great. Maybe you'll see it on Instagram. I'm going to start off this by introducing the Black Student Union moderators, Katie Corazine and Katie Washington. Come on up.
Hello everyone, my name is Katie Corazine. I'm a student at Littlerock and I'm the site leadership secretary and also the UVSC Southern officer.
Hi guys, my name is Daniel Washington. I'm a senior here at Littlerock. I'm the site president for BSU, and I'm also involved in various other clubs on campus, such as JFC, Admin Environment, and I'm one of your moderators.
Welcome, Lobos. As we celebrate Black History Month, we do more than reflect on the past. We honor living history. Black history is not confined to textbooks or timelines. It is alive in the voices, experiences, and contributions of those who continue to shape our world today. Our panel of speakers whose journey spans civil rights activism, the arts, music, and athletes. Each of them has used their platform not only to pursue excellence, but to challenge barriers, uplift communities, and open doors for the coach, Myvett, that follow. What makes this especially meaningful in the common bond they all share? Each of our panelists is connected to Littlerock High School community, a place that represents resilience, pride, and possibility. Their stories remind us that greatness does not come from where you start, but from the courage, determination, and purpose you carry with you. As Lobos, we believe in leadership, unity, and giving back. Our panelists embody those values. They stand as proof that your voice matters, your story matters, and your dreams are valid. Our Black History Month panelists are not only our staff members, they are leaders, trailblazers, and proud members of the Littlerock High School Lobo family. Now, so welcome our very own Katie Washington for a poem.
This is a poem I wrote called Culture. Defined by what we wear on our feet, but not by the contents of our mind. They look at the little white tab on items that seem to define a person's life. They see what they want to see, they hear what they want to hear, they know what they want to know. The hardships we carry as a burden are ignored by those who oppress us. Heavy, like a 50-pound dumbbell on my frail heart that urban circumstances would be seen as strong. I cannot run my fingers through my hair without them being stuck. I used to cry and weep because my hair was not like the hair of those that I know. Told by those whose hair is like mine, whose skin is like mine, whose struggles were like mine, that my hair is too much, too thick, too curly, that my skin is too dark, is most ignorance, punished for flying too close to the sun. The self-hatred in those people runs long and deep like a body of water that sinks mighty ships and stretches in endless lengths. But my hair is not meant to fall, it is not meant to cascade down my back, for it is my crown. It is not meant to be like others, I am meant to stand out. My skin glistens and shines more than anyone else's, no matter how much melanin my beautiful skin contains. My once oppressed features are a connection to everything I am and everything that was. A connection to myself, a connection to my culture, a connection to my heritage. Every coil, every knot that I once saw as a hassle, my skin that I once saw as a burden that made me too different for others around me, they are a gift from God, my Father, my Lord and Savior. He made me as He sees fit with complete and utter perfection. Down to my coils, down to my melanated skin. I am perfection, I am His creation. Not mistake, not excess, but intention. A living reflection of divinity, the culture alive in me. Thank you.
Time to welcome our panelists.
First up, we have Coach Myvett. He's an artist. Coach basketball coach and locker room attendant. He is a Littlerock High School graduate. He also played basketball professionally in multiple countries, including China, Mexico, Bolivia, and Belize. He represented Belize in the Central American Olympic Games, earning a silver medal, and bronze medal in basketball. He won 2 national championships in Belize, earning Guard of the Year, won 2 final MVP and league MVP honors, won a championship and final MVP in Bolivia, transitioned into coaching basketball at Littlerock High School, coached for over a decade, focused on mentoring students both on and off the court. He led the Lobos to two playoff teams in 2018 and 2019 and 2022 and 2023. Made LHS school history in 2022 through 2023 by advancing to the second round of state playoffs for the first time ever.
Trey Balfour, LHS percussion instructor. Trey Balfour is the award-winning local percussion instructor. Played professionally for Mel Booker and King, Red Stone, Gladys Knight, Michael Bolton, Cindy Lauper, Color Me Bad, Lion King, the Grammy Awards, Ricky Martin, B.E. King, After Credits, Melrose Place, Ally Greenfield, The Office, and Beverly Hills.
Next up, we have Dr. Catherine Chailyn, who is the APHSD Director of Equity. Dr. Catherine Chailyn is a proud graduate of the Antelope Valley High School Union District and a dedicated educator with 25 years of service committed to empowering students and transforming school communities. She began her career at Littlerock High School, where she served for 5 years, including 2.5 years as ASB advisor. Cultivated student leadership and school spirit. In 2021, she was given the distinct honor of becoming the ABUSHG First Director of Equity, where she led strategies and initiatives that promoted belonging, access, and opportunity for all students. Dr. Chailyn is married to Pastor Ronnie Chailyn, faithfully supports her ministry at New Life COGIC. She's the proud mother of 5 children, aged 22 to 12, and is passionate about creating meaningful, life-changing opportunities that inspire young people to dream boldly, lead courageously, and grow beyond their wildest expectations.
Dr. Jada Jackson, Antelope Valley High School District, Director of Behavioral Interventions. 2004 Littlerock High School grad, volleyball, soccer, basketball, softball, UNLV volleyball player, walk-on to scholarship, UNLV record holder. She's a believer, wife, mother, teacher, coach, administrator, realtor, business owner, and an entrepreneur.
Next up, we have Mr. Ronald Dewalt. He is the LHS Teacher of the Year in 2015 and a BSU advisor. He graduated from SDSU in 1996. He educated for over 25 years with LAUSD and ABUSHD, taught social studies, AVID, drama, and integrated studies, other duties, coaching, instructional partner, PBIS coordinator, and ASB advisor. He was active in the district BSU for over 10 years.
Dr. Gwyneth Fuller Muse, Mother Trey Balfour, actress, author, civil rights activist. Actress Presidential, Blackish 2022 NFL Super Bowl commercial, A Christmas Gamble, Euphoria, Garden of Eden, Dropout, and many more. Author Gwen Didn't Care, a children's book about Gwen going to the zoo in 1948 and Jim Crow laws. Civil rights activist, a chapter.
Thank you for the great welcome for our panelists. So what we're going to do is we're going to start, let's see. Myvett, you want to start or do you want to go around on the other side? Okay. Mr. Dewalt, would you like to start? What we're going to do is we're going to be asking the panelists some questions. This is the Lobos living history, and basically, it's really nice to have panels up here that has lived during a time of history, and they can reflect on what it was like and how their own shared experiences will help the new generation that you guys are here to develop. So, Mr. Dewalt, you want to start? And then think about some questions and we'll go from there. Go ahead. Do you have the mic?
Yeah. You guys can hear me all right?
Yes. Okay. Let me. How about the BSU? Can you start out with a question? Let's come up here and Katie, why don't you come up here? We'll start with a question.
The first question is, if you live here in Antelope Valley or you moved here, what's the difference in culture?
All right, so first I wanted to say that this is a great whole setup that we got going here. I was at BSU before Miss Honey got here, and she's gotten this program and done wonderful things. So I just wanted to put that out there first. This is a wonderful event, and hopefully it's something that you guys will be able to bring something out of, get something out of. The question was about moving here from somewhere else in the culture and how it's different. It's different in a lot of ways. I've lived in several different cities. I'm from St. Louis originally. Lived in San Diego for about 10, 12 years. Then moved up to LA County. And all of them are different. But I think out here, one of the biggest glaring things that you'll notice is it's not an active agrarian. It's rural. Okay? Look at our school. You don't see much around here. When I first got picked up, there were 3 schools that I could have taught at. It was AV, Palmdale, and Littlerock. And for some reason, people were saying, you know what? There's 2 of those schools you don't need to go to. And this is one of them. And this is back in 2004. So I came out here to check it out. And one of the things that hit me, because I didn't know nothing about this area, was that they had a park. It was called Jackie Robinson. And I was like, all right, I'm good. I'm good. That's all I needed to see. I said, well, this looks like somewhere that would be home. And it's definitely different from most places I've lived in. But I'll say that working at this school, and I've worked at another one as well, and you hear this throughout the district, this is a gem compared to a lot of the other schools out there, just from the teachers to the administration to you guys. It's truly a gem. Yes, we have issues just like other schools, but by and large, I take this school any day over just about any other school in the district. So that's just my opinion.
Okay, I'm going to ask Dr. Gwendolyn Fuller-Mutes to tell us a little bit about herself. And I can see up here that you're standing with Dr. Martin Luther King. Can you fill us in a little bit about that?
Yes, I was about 14 years old then, and it was exciting to meet Dr. King. And yes, he really was short, and I think that's why I have the grin in my face. I admire him so much because we went by his principle. And if anyone were to throw anything on us or hit us or call us an inappropriate name, we would turn the other. We did not fight violence with violence. And that was one thing that helped us to be successful in this first civil rights movement. And it was not North Carolina, it was Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. A lot of people think that it was North Carolina that was the first to integrate the left counties. It was us. And so now we're fighting, we're telling our story now. Before we did very quiet about it. And we didn't think, or should I say, I didn't think that people cared about civil rights. But now I think that people are really caring about civil rights and they have a different shades of mind.
Trey, can you tell us a little bit about your experience? You're a musician. You've been with a lot of bands, and give us a little feedback
could you be a little bit more could you be a little bit more specific because I can go.
Okay. You share a little bit of different, I guess you were with a couple of different bands. You were the Lion King and Gladys Knight and Michael Bolton. You played with all of them, and with the Grammys with Ricky Martin.
Well, yes, everything she said, I've been active ever since I was probably 8 years old. That's when I started performing. And I went ahead and I attended Lawrence University, majored in music, and decided to really, and it is an HBCU out of Langston, Oklahoma. Yes, it is. I'm a proud alumni, as my mother and brother and sister. But I chose to go into music because I wanted to entertain, I wanted to give back. And what led me here to Littlerock High School was the community felt like Oklahoma, like Langston, a rural area, beautiful people, and I thought, this is somewhere where I would like to give back to the community. And I've been here 27 years, and thank you guys for having me.
Questions from the crowd. You guys are pretty familiar with our panelists. So let's start, Kenya. Who has a question?
My name is Jeremiah, I'm a sophomore here at Littlerock High School. And my question is, to start, why are we called black when our skin colors are various different shades of brown?
Can you repeat that?
Alright, sure. To start, why are we called black when our skin colors are various shades of brown?
So, I'm not going to say that I have the right answer on that. It's just what I kind of think of after reading things and just listening to different people. A lot of people tell you that race is kind of like a social construct. You know, it's a very complicated issue. There's a lot of, I think when you look at it historically, it's been white, red, yellow, black, and I think like brown or something like that. So if you just look at us and where we come from, black people, okay, brown people, however you want to look at it, we are the darkest of the bunch for the most part. There are other people that come from areas that are just as dark as we are. But I think historically we've just been known as black people. Even though black people know that we come in all colors, flavors, whatever you want to call it. You can look at our panel right here and see that that's the case. But yeah, it's a complicated issue. I don't know if I gave the right answer, but that's just what I got.
And I would say, so yes, there's a lot of historical context to how we, started off, not calling ourselves black, but being called black. And then it came around to where civil rights movement happened and black pride. So we turned that narrative, that stereotype, and that all of the deficit, nasty thinking about being black and turned it into something to be proud of. And so on today, you'll get many people that will say, do you consider yourself African American or do you consider yourself black? Well, I have friends who are from Nigeria and I have friends that are from all over. And so they don't necessarily identify as African American, but they absolutely identify as being black and proud of it.
Thank you for your answer. The next question is, how was how has being Black shaped your confidence and self-identity? And when have you felt the most proud of who you are?
Could you repeat that? The microphone.
How has being Black shaped your confidence or self-identity? And when have you felt the most proud of who you are?
Well, let me jump in here. I can't really understand the sound, the audio that well. But let me say this here. A lot of young people don't know the issues that we went through. When I was little, if I wanted a dress, we could not try on clothes at the department stores. We had to pay for the dresses and then go home. And if the clothes were too small, that was it. That is part of what we were concerned about. Is the shoes. Our parents would sometimes take the measuring, the ruler, and measure our feet because we could not use the apparatus that would help us to get our shoes the correct size of the shoes. A lot of people don't know that. That is why I think you mentioned civil rights, or what did you say now, ma'am?
So the question was, how has being Black shaped your confidence or self-identity to you? And when have you felt the most proud of who you are?
Oh, the most proud of who I was when we were able to sit down and drink a Coke and eat a hamburger. We are a beautiful people, and we need to know that we are smart and intelligent. And in order for our children to have self-confidence, we must love them, nurture them, believe in them. That way, that will give our children confidence. And Trey had a lot of confidence when he was little. And he could, I won't tell on him, but
Please do.
car, as I was driving, he was always beating on the dashboard, which drove me crazy. But I don't think that I chewed him out. I wanted him to gain his confidence and be positive.
So I kind of come at this question from two perspectives. If you're able to, can you put my slide up there? So on my slide, on my dad's side, he is, we are Black. My grandfather is pictured, keep going, is pictured in the courthouse or courtroom with Malcolm X. He's that blue circle. And then, so that's my Black side. And then my white side, that's my grandmother, my mom's mom. And so when we talk about like how I identify, I fully love and embrace my Black, my African American side, and I fully embrace my white side. And so for me, my identity is in Christ. And so I am who he says that I am, and I love everybody.
For your answers at this time, our MCs are out. They're going to come around and they're going to start asking. There are a few of our students who have a few other questions that are going to be posed to you at this time.
Hello, my name is Angel Gordon. I'm a junior and I'm part of BSU. And my question is, have you ever felt you had to choose between being professional and being your authentic self? And how did you handle that?
So yes, I think we all have to do that. We all have to code switch, right? So like who you are authentically, sometimes you gotta tone it down, sometimes you want to turn it up. And so it just depends on what event you're going to, and then code switch. If everybody's
I would say, as a director of equity, And equity is really, in a nutshell, is different from equality. Equality is the same. Equity is when you provide individuals in our work, students, with what they need, when they need it, for how long you need, in order for you to get access to what is equally available, right? So that's equity. So I'm the director that really helps everyone to understand our role with ensuring that students get the same thing, right? Well, we look at racial equity, we look at gender equity, all those different things. And I know that for me, I have to always know who I am and my identity, but I still have a role to play to ensure that I get the job done for all students, all staff, making sure that everyone is getting what they need, right? So it's a fine balance between, and I find myself evolving all of the time. So my authentic self, now I've been in this position for 4 years, almost 5 years, going on 5 years. It has become my authentic self, even as I am a professional in this job. I don't come and put on a face and leave it at work. This is who I am in the community. This is who I am with my church, with my family. I advocate and I fight for everyone, and I fight for what is right, regardless of where I am. And I guess that's why I was drawn to this position in the first place. And so I think you can become who you are, and you can meld the two. You can put them together to be your authentic self, but remain professional as well.
And going with that as well, you know, my life philosophy, since I've been a musician / educator, my approach has always been life through drumming through life. And I realized that being the professional and being the husband, being the father, being Black, I am who I am. And I never really would separate anything. I just approach it, I encompass everything on who I am. So it made me a better individual, because being able to give back and still not being really prideful, but just, like I said, being who I am, and the world accepting me as a Black man, as a musician, as a drummer, as an educator, because everyone in this valley knows, they already know that I'm Black. Well, guess what? They know that I'm a musician. They know that I'm an educator. So it all works hand in hand. However, there is a balance. So you have to remain, I have to remain balanced.
Moderators, we have a next question.
Martin, so great. What does being Black mean to you personally, and how does that meaning change?
What does being Black mean to you personally? And what's the last part?
How has that meaning changed?
How has that meaning changed
Over time.
over time?
Okay, I think you guys not already addressed, we hold a lot of different titles in life. You know, we have fathers, somebody mentioned about being a Christian, we're educators, we're all these different things. The weird thing is, I think that, and this is again from what I've heard and listened to, that we in America, as Black Americans or African Americans, whatever you want to call it, we hold on to that more so than Africans in Africa, Black Africans, because that's how we've been told from day one. You're Black, and not in a good way. It's almost a negative way. You know, Black is, we have all these things for how Black is this and that, it's usually almost always negative. So what my parents, and I'm sure a lot of panelists on here, they made sure to show examples of all the positives, go over the history, and all these things that we've done, so we can shed those ideas and some of those things that we see all the time that are extremely negative. I look at social media just like a lot of you guys, and sometimes it hurts me. It hurts my feelings because the things that I see coming from Black people, and I know that's a small percentage, but it goes out to the world, and it bothers me. That's why when we have things like this is truly a teachable moment where you can sit here and see that, yeah, we're responsible for a lot of different things, a lot more positive things than people want to even pay attention to. We kind of tend to gravitate towards the negative, and it's good to have events like this where you can focus on, positives that people are doing as well.
What is a lesson about being Black that no one taught you, but life forced you to learn?
I would say for playing professionally internationally, the acceptance of my color in various countries, from China to South America, which I love playing over there, but just the color of my skin, just when they view me, they view what they see on TV in a negative way. And as the other speakers spoke about, people come from Nigeria and Africa and those countries, and China especially, when you go out to a social gathering, the Nigerians, they sit down in the corner. So it's 12 Black Americans there having a good time, and we're out on the floor doing what we do, and they're in the corner. And I said, well, what are they doing there? They just said, well, that's what they're supposed to do when they're here. They're not allowed to integrate or party along with the Chinese, with the Russians. So my thing with that was just accepting how people would treat me outside of my friends, my family, my teammates here, in the US. It was just a culture shock for me, but, I'm mentally tough, strong, so I just humbled myself knowing that if I'm going to be here, this is what I have to take in. Even with playing a game for winning, I'm high-fiving the crowd, and I have some fans calling me names that I've never heard before, and I looked it up, and I'm like, it's really derogatory. I'm here celebrating with you for something in your country, and this is what you're calling me. So it was a big culture shock, but just being humble and just mentally tough, mind and heart, what's got me through for so long.
In line with that same question, what is one stereotype that you've had to fight against?
Well, one stereotype I had to fight, and I still do. The angry Black woman, angry Black loud woman. And so, is there situations that arise that upset me? Absolutely, all the time. But that is a stereotype that I have to fight because, as Mr. Dewalt explained, at a very young age, I was told there are certain things I need to do, and I had to represent not just my family well, not just myself well, but the weight of the, reputation of Black people, all Black women, has rested on my shoulders since I was little. So I was taught to be the best, be the smartest, and handle yourself with poise, be as extremely ladylike. And when you get angry, smile. Think. And come out with all you got, every intellect and every intellectual thought that you have, come at it with all you have because you represent more than yourself. And so that stereotype, even when I have gotten upset and I'm treated very poorly because I am a woman or because I am Black, I've had to learn over the years how to address it to ensure that I do not keep that stereotype going.
Thank you, Dr. That same vein of questioning, because that's any of us who've been around for any length of time, we grew up knowing that I've got to be twice as good as the other person just so I can be looked at it minimally as that other race. How do you fight that enraged feeling that comes up when you are trying not to be that stereotype? What advice would you give to our young people today? Because that is a challenge, that's a struggle that our young people give into today, rather than being a little stronger inside and doing the thing that's going to help propel them. How would you guide or direct our young people today?
I would say, first off, think before you open your mouth. Okay? Think before you react. There have been times where people have come at me sideways, and even to this day, and I have to think about what I want to say, and then send a nice email stating something in a very professional manner. Now, as young adults, as you are, I'm going to approach you as young adults, you're going to have to learn how to do that. Okay, you just can't go out Rambo style or whatever. You can't do that because society, the real world doesn't work that way. They're going to look at you like you're crazy.
They'll treat you.
Yeah, they're going to treat you like you're crazy. So you want to be above whatever negativity is thrown at you. It's like my mother said, when they were on the counter, they were spat upon, called certain things, but they fought back with love and kindness. Okay, so just young people, just think before you act.
Awesome panelists. Please give our panelists an applause. So before we dismiss, I want to give a couple of people who may have a question or two specifically for any panelists on the stage. So if you have a specific question that you'd like to ask one of our panelists, please.
Hello, my name is Jasmine Hodges, I'm a senior, and my question is, if you could, this is for all of you guys. If you could go back, what advice would you give your younger self regarding the struggles that Black community faces? Go back to your younger self.
Here's some wheels turning up here.
Okay, I can, is this on? Okay,
Yes.
got it. I can answer that. I would simply say that, I'm kind of an introvert. I don't really hang out with people too much. I'm not really out there like that. So what I would say is I would have been more active. We had BSU at the school I was at, one of the schools I attended, and it was a very small population of Black students. And at the time, I thought I was too cool. Like, I just like, that ain't for me or anything like that. Fast forward, I go to college, same thing. Where I was just like, I should have been active, and now here I am, and I'm trying to get more students involved. So I would just say, just be more active, definitely in helping your people out.
Piggyback off of that, I would say to be more active. During my time at Littlerock, we didn't have a BSU. I wish we did have one. I didn't get into, the culture right until I got to Northridge, PAS, African American major. So I didn't really follow anything into that. Basically, here was just the curriculum, and then when you pass. But I would say I wish we had BSU back then. That way I could be more involved, be more active.
Time for one more question for the audience.
This is a question for Dr. Gwendolyn specifically. Can you give us some information about the book that you showed us earlier and possibly where we can get it?
I think you asked me to share about the book.
Yes.
It's about Jim Crow. How many of you know who Jim Crow is? Raise your hand if you know who Jim Crow is. Okay, I see a few hands. Jim Crow is segregation. Jim Crow will make you feel that you are less than, that you are small, you don't have confidence, and that's what this book talks about. Leanne wanted to go to the zoo. She asked her mother, there's only one day a week that people of color could go to the zoo, and that was on Thursdays. Went there, I wanted to go through the gate, I had to go to the colored entrance. I wanted to drink water. The water fountain was not working. I couldn't drink out of the white water fountain. Couldn't use the restroom in the nice clean white restroom. The colored restroom was stinky. That's terrible. And I just became this illusion, and I just did not care to go to the zoo anymore. It took me about maybe 40 years before I went to the zoo, maybe 50 years, when I took my 2 goddaughters there. They begged me to go, and I did not want to go to the zoo, but I took them, and surprisingly, it was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience. That is basically what this book is about. I wanted to make certain that my children knew the history, because if you don't know your history, you don't know where you are going in life. One more thing. Young people, when you go out for a job, please pull your pants up. Young people, do not speak in slang. Speak intelligently when you are talking, when you are being interviewed for a job. That's nice. Because no one wants to be around someone who is not speaking in an intelligent manner. I just ask you to please think about your ancestors, what all they went through, and they went through hell.
Thank you very much. That question had a second part to it that asked, where can you get the book? You can find that book on Amazon. I did check. It is on Amazon. Before we dismiss you, we have one more of our awesome Lobos who wrote a poem just for this occasion. We're going to have him come up and share his poem. We're going to give our panelists one last applaud, and then we will dismiss you.
Alright, good afternoon, guys. My name is Ronald. I'm here on the DSU Vice President. Just other than that, I am part of RTC and admin, so just to give you guys that. My poem is called More Than Shade. I created this for NCA here, so make sure you guys pay attention. They ask me what it feels like to be black, like it's a costume I wake up and put on, like it's just a color in a crayon box. But being black is not a shade, it's a story. It's Sundays, mornings, dressed in excellency when Monday tries to break us. Being black is not our history, we can start with change and won't end with pain. We are more than what they try to erase. We are more than the stereotypes. We are descendants of kings who built civilization before the world even learned how to pronounce the word power. We are daughters of queens whose strength was stitched into survival. We turn conflicts into freedom songs, turn segregation into sit-ins, and turn no into movements. And still we smile, create, and lead. Being black is brilliance in motion. It's kissed by the melanin, by the sun, like God takes extra time. But don't get it twisted. Being black is also walking into rooms and knowing you have to be as twice as good just to be seen half as worthy. It's carrying the weight of history on the shoulders that are still growing. It's learning how to be strong before you can even get the chance to be soft. But even with that, we rise. We are architects of the culture. The music you stream, the slang you repeat, the style you copy, the movement you join, we do. And they ask what it feels like to be black. It feels like power, it feels like pain, and it feels like pride. So when I say that I am black, I am not whispering. I am declaring that I am history and future in the same breath. I am successful and a struggle at the same time. I am a rhythm and a revolution. I am not just a shade, I am a legacy.
I would like for you to give an applause to our BSU leaders, Mr. Dewalt and Ms. Honey Carnevali. I would like to also recognize Ms. Tanya Rollins, whose idea this was to